Hello, my friends, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow. Once again, we're doing at the second show of today, we're doing a discussion about the new subject of the Belt and the Road. The Belt and the Road, 一带一路, is a strategy recently put up by China. And for that, a summit, international summit, especially typically Asia and the Asian area, neighborhoods of Asia, including Europe or Western or Eastern Europe, together about more than 20 countries, their supreme leaders, their presidents or the big leaders would come together to talk about development. So today, joining me in sharing this big event is my good friend, Mr. Daniel Su. He is the project manager of U.S. Department of Commerce Business Center. Right. So welcome, Dan, to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Great to be back.
Very good. It's been a while. You and I haven't seen each other, huh?
We've both been busy.
Busy, right? Busy waiting for the big jet project to come up.
And it's here. Apparently it's here now.
Yeah, sure. How much do you know about the Silk Road?
Oh, quite a bit. There's been quite a bit of buzz about it the last year or so. And now that they seem to be really moving on the project, building a plan and putting money behind it, it sounds very exciting. A lot of opportunity in the future to come.
Yeah. And in history, there was one time, there were twice. One built with a land route from Chang'an, which is Xi'an, all the way to Western Europe, right? Okay. And the other is the Silk Road down south, the water road, right? All the way to the South Sea, South Asian Sea. Both of the two projects in history worked out beautifully to push mankind forward quite a bit.
Oh, without a doubt. And also, because of the world situation now, this would greatly help a lot of these far-reaching areas where they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the investment, and they don't have the interest to build out their areas. A lot of them have warring factions and a lot of economic problems. So this hopefully will transition from people fighting to people doing business together and hopefully bring a lot of peace in the future.
Sure. And from where you are with the Department of Commerce, the USA, in the business center of Southern California, and where you hold a general project manager position. So in your eye, what do you see that will do to the people on the route, along the route, to the two routes?
Well, we're contracted with the Minority Business Development Agency under U.S. Department of Commerce, and we're the Pasadena Center. And as you know, we help minority businesses here to either find contracts, projects, investments, strategic introductions. So I see this as a great opportunity for the minority businesses here to participate in all the infrastructure projects over in China and the whole Silk Road. Because you need to go where the money is, you need to go where the projects are. And so we act as a liaison to introduce these companies into these projects, to the people who are controlling the projects, and hopefully they get some contracts out of it. So there's a lot of opportunities, not for people just in the construction industry. As you know also, China is trying to turn China into a net importing country, which leaves a lot of opportunities for U.S. companies to sell products into China and in the Southeast Asia region. Great opportunity.
Quite recently, when President Xi Jinping of China and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, they met in Florida, Chinese import was quite a big issue. Because everybody understands that 1.3 billion people is a huge market, and nobody comes even close, right? So China opening up, right? And that's a lot of opportunities to United States. And what you're saying is that when China makes the call to do the Silk Road again, the road, the Belt and the Road, there's another opportunity for the U.S. business owners to get involved,
Well,
especially Asian, right?
Oh, definitely, because as you know, Asians have a greater chance of being successful because they know the language.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Well, I mean, in this case, because we're dealing with Asia,
okay.
we speak the language, we understand business. A lot of Chinese here have connections back in China, and so it makes it an easier transition from going to selling here in the U.S. to doing business in China as well. And then, for example, our agency, we have training where we kind of educate people how to export and how to do business overseas and introduce them into these big projects so they don't have to go at it alone. For example, we work with a lot of the major U.S. construction companies, and if they're able to land a project and have financing to it, then they can bring in some of our minority contractors here in the States to do business over there.
I see. So especially in your own community, I know that you have a Korean background, origin, right?
Chinese.
Chinese. You're Chinese?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't speak Chinese, do you?
讲一点点.
Okay, good. All right, good.
I just always
I
speak
thought you were
English to
from Korean, Korea, South Korea.
Oh, no.
No. Okay,
Yeah.
very good, very good. All right. So, and that is a privilege, I would say. That is a privilege. With the language, you know, 一点点 Cantonese.
Yeah.
一点点 Cantonese, and the position that you're holding, using the resources of Department of Commerce, U.S. for small business, for business center, though, you can motivate your people. Hey, here's the opportunity. Here's the project. Go handpick yourself and find your market there.
Oh, without a doubt. Definitely a lot of momentum going towards being involved in this kind of project. Because I speak a bit of Chinese, some of our staff speak Chinese, so people doing business here, they feel more comfortable in listening to what we have to say about the opportunity.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right. More trustworthy. More trustworthy, right? Okay. Very good.
They
very
can
good.
communicate with us.
And the big thing that I heard on the information that I was provided, that China and other countries together, they kind of like established a banking system called the Asian Investment Bank for AIB, Asian Investment Bank. And for that bank, China puts in the most money needed. That's a big thing.
That's the key to anything. You need the money behind you. Otherwise, it's just a good idea.
All right, just idea. All right.
Yeah. So now that they're putting the money behind the projects, it will go. They're definitely good. Now you need to create the proper program where people can participate and you get the highest quality for your money for the projects, and it's the right oversight, and you can get it done properly. And it's a very
I
exciting
learned
time.
that China has been preparing this for at least the past 3 years. It was first announced year of 2013 or beginning of 2014, about the Belt and the Road, the 一带一路, right? And then they started a conversation with the bank establishment. When the bank is established, now it's time to move on. Right after the meeting with President of the United States, Donald Trump, right after upon returning home, that she started the whole thing, right? And I believe the summit is going to be held on the 14th and the 15th of May.
That I've heard as well, yeah.
Oh, okay, very good. So, and we're saying that President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, that he will attend. What do you think that his attendance will represent?
Well, definitely their interest in Russia participating in this huge, unheard of project since the original Soviet
Unheard
Union.
of, yeah.
So this is really a historic time. And for Russia to participate, hopefully we can all work together rather than having conflict. and economics ties people together and countries together in that regard.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I know that you are from Department of Commerce. You're talking about more commerce rather than conflicts.
Yeah,
right.
We're all about
more commerce than conflicts. So there is a lot of saying prior to this for the especially for the early years of the Chinese rise. They say that tend to be a kind of like a fear to the United States. Lots of people worry that will hurt the United States, that will kind of reduce or dilute the influences of the United States around the world. When they're talking about it, they're mostly talking about militarily. Now, instead of doing a military contest, right, and China started pushing the Asian economies. Do you think that will balance a little bit?
I don't think there's a threat of military conflict with the U.S. Because we have too much involved, both of our countries. We have so much commerce going back and forth, it would really hurt both sides. So competition is competition.
Okay.
And it's really who's the most motivated to get it done, to take the initiative and export and learn about other countries and see what opportunities are overseas. So in that regard, our agencies, we serve them in our community, but we try to give them that opportunity to compete in the world market. So that being said, they have to take initiative, but we are here, and that is our purpose. I know President Trump has his own thoughts regarding our agency, MBDA, because people look at it as perhaps it's giving minorities a step up above others. But if you think about it from the perspective of we really need to do more exporting, we really need to do international trade and investment, and who better to open those doors than, in this regard, Asian community, but also we serve South America and other countries as well. But because we promote that within our communities, that is stimulating more work abroad, more opportunities abroad.
In other words, when China creates the Belt and the Road project, though, it's not a China project. It's a project for everybody, right? And even the project for us, you and I, we want to get involved. We get involved, right? So it's a chance, it's opportunity for everybody, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. And there's many countries involved. It's not just China. China is the big money source, but projects throughout the world, we deal with many, we have a relationship with many consul generals, and we understand what they're looking for, what their needs are, and there's just vast opportunities, but money is the key.
Very good, very good. My dear friends, today with my good friend, Daniel Su, he is the from Department of Commerce, the U.S., and with a small business, with Business Center. He is the general manager for projects. We're analyzing the incoming summit called the Belt and the Road Summit, being held in Beijing, to be attended by more than 20 countries with their supreme leaders. So they're discussing about putting Asia and Europe as a whole block, right? Economically, they are moving around a big plan that probably will connect everybody. So let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, we'll continue from that point on. When my friend Daniel says that he has chances to meet with lots of general consulate of different countries. So we want to hear from them how they welcome such big plan. So stay with us, please. Hello, my dear audience. Welcome back to the show. Jack Zhao hosting a discussion about the road, the Belt, the road, a big project created by China with the purpose of handling the world situation economically, because lots of undeveloped countries need help, and lots of developed countries has excess, has surplus. So with the needs, with the surplus, can we put ends together, right? Can we put them together to work for betterment for Asia, betterment even for Europe, betterment even for South Asian Sea countries or islands, right? Joining me is my good friend Daniel Su, project manager of Department of U.S. of Commerce in Business Center, sharing about his reading about the projects, the big project, the road and the belt, right? So, welcome back. You mentioned about that you, at your position, Business Center for U.S. Commercial Department, you have opportunities to meet with lots of general consulate of different countries. How do you think about the belt, the road?
Well, they all look at it as a great opportunity to bring more opportunity to their country. A lot of them have already started to plan vast infrastructure projects, a lot having to do with building roads and ports and so forth. And some of your undeveloped or lesser developed countries, such as Myanmar and Cambodia, they need that infrastructure so they can be competitive on a worldwide basis for their manufacturing, some of their products, raw materials. So this is a great boost to them because they need that investment, they need that infrastructure. Then they can get everything built to the port and shipped out throughout the world in a timely manner. Right now, it's kind of lacking, so this would be a great benefit to them. Other countries want to build their infrastructure network so that they can, for example, Indonesia, there are so many islands. They want to connect the islands together with greater ports, more quicker shipping routes, so they can consolidate and then ship out to the rest of the world.
With the bridges or canals or some underwater canals or stuff to link them together, right?
Right, with harbors and
with harbors, yes.
And a lot has to do with energy. You need energy to run those factories, run those cities. So,
all right. And those small countries, smaller countries of South Asia, you're talking about including Vietnam, right? Including India. Of course, they have a second largest population, but their land, consider their land, they're not that big, right? So they're kind of compact themselves, right? Very crowded. And then you're talking about Laos, you're talking about Sri Lanka, you're talking about Myanmar, you're talking about
Bangladesh,
Thailand. And taking Bangladesh for their textile, for example, though, their product is piled up in a warehouse. They need to ship them out.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And then Sri Lanka, you're talking about their bananas.
They have a lot of
lots of
produce and fruit and things, and they need infrastructure to process all that.
If you would bring, say, the Sri Lanka bananas, or Myanmar, say, T-shirts, to all the way to Germany, right? That's going to be so successful because people there need them, right? And then down south, they need to get rid of those because they pile up, they're getting there doing nothing in the warehouse. So, and in a sense, it makes lots of significance by moving things around that way. Am I right?
Without a doubt. And it all has to do with being able to ship on time.
Ship on time. Okay, good.
Sri Lanka has a lot of, for example, coconuts. You need to process all that and get it out there and get it to the markets. Otherwise, everything will spoil. Or you need to put it in cans or whatever you may do, and you need the infrastructure, the power, the factories to process all that, and that's a big step, a huge investment.
Yeah, and also speaking of coconuts, for example, you're talking about you'd rather put up something there to process the coconuts rather than shipping the whole coconuts on a ship over there, right? Raw coconuts over there. So that gives you the chance of putting up processing plants right there to get the coconut milk.
Exactly.
Right? And the coconut fiber itself could be used for something else.
Oh yeah, you can dry it and put it on cakes.
You put on cakes, right?
Or what have you.
Okay. And another word, with the infrastructure, with the manufacturing processes, with the ports and railroads. Oh, railroads are a big thing. It's a big chunk of the thing.
Without a doubt.
And the bridges, you kind of like the connection of all the products flows.
Exactly.
All right.
That's what you need to do.
All the product flows. Very good.
You know, China is also very financially involved. For example, Sri Lanka. They're a big partner in building roads over there and some of the infrastructure. But this will be an additional boost. If you get worldwide attention, then you get worldwide investors as well.
And also energy. You're talking about, you mentioned energy just now, right?
Yeah.
Hey, China is now very strong with the solar energy. With solar energy. They are exporting their solar panels, the battery, the big battery panels, almost everywhere, including to the United States. Right? If there's a chance, they probably can move their plants, or at least they can build up their plants in some of the southern countries, or some of the southern island countries, areas, and have them produce it locally. Number one is China production, and number two, that promotes the local activity, productivity.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're talking about, you're motivating their economy.
It's bringing power to these areas. And a lot of them have, rolling blackouts, and you cannot count on the power, X amount of power per day. So it's very hard to run a business or for investors to figure how they're going to make a profit if you can't count on the power. So they'll just bypass that country at this point. So we're trying to help them solve their power needs as well. It's all tied together. And it takes a lot of people, a lot of resources to bring the right technologies and put them up and set up the infrastructure to just get those guys going.
And the other day I had this discussion with my friend Drexel Smith of Rotary International, who recently put up a trip to India, to those rural areas whereby they had this water problem. They don't have drinking water at all. So I believe with this project moving on, though, they kind of like their opportunity also to get their local conditions improved. Water plant, for example, water treatment plant, or at least they could dig some wells, something like that to help them. All right.
As you know, when you grow so quickly as well, you really need to watch your environment, so you're not causing problems for years in the future. This is an opportunity where you can come with the infrastructure and also do things like water purification and what do you do with waste disposal. For example, one of our clients, they do trash to energy. They burn the trash and they create energy out of that rather than just landfilling it. Landfilling, you'll have a problem for years and years to come. You're just kind of doing a blind eye to the future problems. In this regard, the new technology, although you're burning trash, it still cleans the air. You're not just billowing smoke into the air, and then you're creating that state.
At least this technology can be introduced to China.
Without a doubt.
Right? And then the technology can be introduced to India, where you have most of the population who produce trash, and the trash turns into energy instead of getting only a simple solution for landfill.
Right.
Okay,
or
very
into
good.
the river. Yeah.
In all ways, it looks very hopeful, right?
It's looking positive.
All
Yeah.
right, good. And with my friend Daniel Su today, we're borrowing a future, see how the exact show look if the China won the Belt and the Road project gets going. That is the project that gets at least 20 of Asian and European countries involved. And their summit is going to be held on the 14th or 15th of May. So let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue finding more in the project itself, from money, from resources, and from surplus, from all kinds of angles to see how helpful this is to mankind. Stay with us, please. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the discussion about the road and the belt. 一带一路. And the belt and the road, the belt, however you may lay them, this is a copy from the ancient time, one in the Han Dynasty, about the route all the way to, I believe, to West Europe. And then from Ming Dynasty all the way down to the South Asian Sea by Zhenghe. At that time, was that same time? I don't know. I don't know exactly the time.
I'm not positive.
The time mark, but anyway, those land route and the water route all the way makes Asia and South Asia, including Western Europe, a circle like that. From north, you go the land route and all the way to Germany. And then down south, you go this way all the way to the very south end of the South Asian Sea. All these island countries and the European, West Europe countries, including Russia, China, and the southern countries like India, Laos, Thai, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, all the way down. You put them in one parameter for economic development, for their own benefit, right? So we're talking about, these nations, all of these nations, they are not even. If you take a look at the certain extent of their economy growth or economy itself, so you have countries with quite lots of surplus, and you have countries barely make ends meet. So by moving around, how do you see we can be there's supposed to be one who is managing it. So do we need a manager somewhere, somehow? And you're a project manager.
It definitely would be.
Okay.
It would be beneficial to have a master plan, because certain countries where you don't have all that infrastructure already, every country has their own needs, and you need to be able to deal with their needs individually to determine how do you get them up to speed so that they can be world competitive. If you just take one holistic approach, I think the chance of it working for some would be good, but the chance for working for a lot of the smaller countries would not be beneficial. So really, if they can take into consideration the needs of these smaller, less developed countries or with specific needs, just take a approach where you can help them each individually, but with the overall plan in mind. That I think would be the most beneficial approach.
Yeah, you're right. By the same logic, for example, if you need a paper clip, right? And you're saying that I'm going to produce my own paper clip. For that, you have to open your steel mines or iron mines, right? To produce the metal, to make the clip yourself. There is somebody else who has that already, and they are in surplus. why don't you come together? Am I right?
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. In Xinjiang province, there are lots of grapes, right? And each year at the time when capture, it was time of capture, there are lots of grapes that kind of rotten because he's talking about it's very time-sensitive matter. And then I learned that in Germany, they have the grape capture kind of equipment, the machinery, that can go all the way to capture the grapes and shake them into the grains, and the grain goes into a squeezer or blender. What you do, you capture the juice rather than the leaves and the branches. You capture that. So why don't we come together and put up a winery there? Right?
Yeah.
Put a winery. So that is the whole idea of putting people together, putting the efforts together. Am I right?
Oh, without a doubt, and you really hit on an important point there where a lot of these smaller countries, they don't have the money to invest, for example, mining. They don't have the money to invest in mining, but they have the resources. So what's happening is they'll have to lease that out to a mining company who's really making a majority of the profit. Whereas if they can get financing to build their own mine, then the local community, the host country is going to make a greater benefit than a major corporation who is really going in there and really reaping a big benefit.
All right, okay. Now, take for example, say Myanmar, right? Say their T-shirts, they have the best cotton I know, the best cotton on earth, right? They produce the beautiful shirts, right? Now, they do not have the money to buy their textile equipment, right? China says, here's the bank gives you money, go buy it.
Yeah.
And they buy it, and they arrange a plan. Now you're talking about not only 2, but 3 gets involved.
Right.
Right?
That's a perfect example.
And then the 3 goes to 4, goes to 5, goes to even more, and you got everybody tied up in the whole string. Am I right?
Right, exactly. That's the ideal situation where they can create their own vertical integration to the point where they have a product ready to the mass market.
And nowadays, when you talk about development, you always think about a country, how a country developed from A to B to C to D, like that kind. Now, in the process of growing from A to B to C to D, though, you need to consider everything that you needed. Now that you have somebody provides the money, somebody provides the technology, somebody provides the machinery equipment, and then you're talking about you get 1 or 2, 3 countries involved in the word development, right? What can we do to provide into the circle as the United States from our part? Okay, what do we think we are strong? Hey folks, here's my technology, or here's my equipment, go ahead, use it, and I will. So you're talking about export, right? You're talking about increasing our export to meet with their needs using the money in the bank, the Asian Investment Bank. So we're part of it. So what area do you think we can get involved, please?
Well, depending on the industry, we have a lot of newer technology as far as production methodology, management skills, where we can go in basically and teach them with new modern equipment to maximize production and follow our production management skills. That's just one way we can be involved. We can sell them the equipment as well. So we're making the equipment here, we're selling it overseas, creating jobs here as well as over there. So it's a win-win situation.
And the President Donald Trump has called for creating jobs. That's a good call. I kind of am in support with that call, because the job. Without creating lots of jobs that are needed, you are not talking about a strong economy, right? Today, my dear friend, We are talking about the Asian new move of forming the summit discussion on the One Belt and the Road subject, and it's a big project. The news has it that has to be the so big project on earth that no previous plans had come even close. And for the summit itself, where there's one comment saying that it's even bigger than G20. Anyway, today joining me, my friend Daniel Su from U.S. Department of Commerce. We're talking about how we see this whole thing works, how we shall benefit by getting ourselves involved. So stay with us, please. Hello, dear friends, my dear audiences. Welcome back to the discussion about the One Belt and Road plan, the big subject for the summit coming in May on the 14th and 15th in Beijing, where more than 20 countries will attend with their supreme leaders, talking about a co-development, right, coexistence, and a collaboration, if necessary, in national economy of their own, right? So normally when we talk about the national economy, you're talking about you as a nation, right? When you're talking about increased national economy collaboratively, you're talking about nations all together by doing something all together to commonly increase their economy. And with me today is my good friend, Daniel Su. He is from U.S. Department of Commerce with the Business Center. He holds the position of General Project Manager. So we're analyzing it. We'll see how we can get involved in addition to see the significance. I mean, monetarily, for example, when you and I, we're sitting here looking at this opportunity, right? We don't have enough money to do so. Right, to do that, anything we want to do. So would a U.S. bank help?
U.S. bank would help if you are, for example, manufacturing products here or exporting products overseas. So you have Exim Bank who will help with the financing of your shipment of products to overseas. If you're making a product which you're trying to, well, regardless if you're making a product here, financing from banks is definitely a possibility. So there's different resources to get funded. One is SBA, of course, and through ITA and Exim Bank. There's different ways to get things done. And of course, there's always private investor side as well. A lot of times if you have a strategic partner, whether it's here or in China, say for example, beef. China is talking about opening the market to the beef from the U.S. If a Chinese investor invests in a farm over here to grow the beef, then they can grow the beef and have a direct shipment.
Yeah, all right, good. In other words, if money from the AIB, Asian Investment Bank, from this AIB, invested into, say, a U.S. farm, for growing the beef, the cows, right?
Right.
And then they have the meat processed over there, and then export the meat to China.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
And that's one circle. That could be one circle. The China money, U.S. beef exported to China, and you increase the U.S. export. It offsets the trade deficit.
Exactly. And that's considered a foreign direct investment when you're investing money here in cattle. Now for this particular summit and project, agricultural may not be qualified as an investment within that fund. However, just straight private investors would work just as well for that kind of thing.
All right, okay.
Versus if you're making manufacturing equipment for your T-shirts. The manufacturer of that equipment here in the U.S. can get financing, or a partner investor from China to invest in the equipment so that they take it back over there and sell it.
And also still talking about the beef example though, with the AIB money, the Asian Investment Bank money that goes to the farmer, to the farms, to the range of growing the beef, right?
Correct.
And then shift the beef to say the Laos, for example, for them to be processed into the canned beef, and then shift the canned beef to Russia, where they are hungry for beef. They need lots of beef, right? And Russia probably on return can give them some metals.
Metal,
right?
oil. Yeah.
Something like that. And then it moves the whole circle. Everybody gets involved.
Exactly, yeah.
It is rather than you and I sit here showing muscles, say, hey, I have bigger muscles than you, and you have bigger muscles than I am, which makes nothing at the end of the day.
Right.
Right? And actually they get involved, they are doing the things, right? Okay, very good. And in addition to those direct kind of money, production, product, market circle, what else on the kind of intellectual levels do you think that we can get involved?
Well, another thing is LNG. LNG is a market with the U.S. is making more and more, which is liquid natural gas. And so a lot of Southeast Asia and throughout the world, they're looking for that product. So
natural gas?
Liquefied natural gas.
Liquefied natural gas, yes.
So when you have production of oil, that off the byproduct is LNG, and then you need the equipment and the people and the jobs to extract and process that and then ship it off to other countries, which that in turn is going to power their power plants and help them run their factories. So it's all a big circle, and it all makes sense. They have things we need, and we have things they need.
Yeah, sure. And now that you're talking about the clean environment, you're talking about the environment protections, we probably want to introduce our California summer blend to them, right? And let them use cleaner energy.
Yeah.
And cleaner gasoline so that they have a better environment instead of seeing the fog almost on a day-to-day basis. And then lots of southern Asian countries, they see the same problem.
Yeah.
All right. And then for that, probably Europe, Western Europe, say Germany, for example. Oh, by the way, German is very active in this thing. In this, the Belt and the Road, the project.
Well, very good.
They have lots of large equipment, those heavy-duty equipment.
Oh, sure.
They are in surplus of, that they need to find a home for them. So.
Well, Germany is known for their quality in machinery and equipment, and they're a world leader as well as the dominant leader in Europe. So definitely, they would have to be a key player within the overall plan.
So, in other words, this thing like say, okay, suppose the world is like a wheel, right? And this one, the Belt and the Road project, kind of spin the wheel, right? When the wheel gets started, everybody gets benefit. Am I right?
Yep.
Very good. All right, the summit is coming on the 14th and 15th of May in Beijing, and whereby lots of world leaders from 20 countries, at least 20 countries, would attend. Let's see what happens on that very summit. And with me today, my good friend Dan Su. He's from Department of Commerce of USA, in a business center working for projects. We're sharing his thoughts, and we're taking perspective for looking into the summit, into the Belt and the Road to see the future. And looks that we have borrowed quite a bit. We see quite a bit of promising stuff, so on and so forth. It's good to humanity, let's hold on. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that subject. All right. Thank you very much, my dear friends, my dear audiences. And Dan, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
All right,
Thanks for
good.
having me.